Welcome. Today, we're diving into some wisdom from the philosopher Bertrand Russell that feels incredibly relevant right now. It tackles that feeling, you know the one, where you're running faster and faster, but somehow you're not getting anywhere. So let's start with a feeling that's probably pretty familiar. You work your tail off, you hit that big goal, you get the win, and for a second, it feels great. But then, it just fades, right? And you're left with this weirdly empty feeling, already thinking, okay, what's next? All right, so here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to really unpack this problem of empty success. Then, we'll look at the hidden price we pay for it. And most importantly, we're going to lay out a super practical way to finally step off this treadmill for good. And let's be clear, this isn't about failing. It's actually about the complete opposite. It's about that strange, hollow feeling you can get from achieving what everyone else considers a huge success. Okay, so the philosopher Bertrand Russell noticed something really interesting. He saw that a lot of people, especially in the business world, talk about their stress as this epic struggle for life. Like they're in some constant do-or-die battle just to survive. But here's the thing. Russell called this out as a total misdiagnosis. He said, look, for most of us these days, the real fear isn't about not having enough food on the table. It's about not shining as brightly as our neighbor. It's not a struggle for life. It's a struggle for success. And this whole struggle for success, well, that leads us to the perfect metaphor for what's going on here, the success treadmill. Think about what a treadmill actually does. It's a machine designed for constant motion, right? But you don't actually go anywhere. That's the problem. It promises progress, but all you get is tired. Your well-being doesn't actually go up because the goal isn't a fixed point. It's just to be ahead of the person next to you. And that finish line is always moving. And what's wild is that modern psychology totally backs this up. There's something called social comparison theory, which basically says our brains are hardwired to constantly check how we're doing compared to everyone else. And you could imagine, in the age of social media, that instinct is just on fire. It creates this relentless push to always be moving up, which ironically just leaves us feeling like we're always falling behind. So, okay, what's the actual cost of living this way? What's the price we pay to stay in this race? And this is where it gets really insidious. This competitive mindset doesn't just poison our work lives, it leaks into and poisons our free time too. Think about it. Suddenly quiet, relaxing hobbies start to feel, well, boring. Just sitting still feels impossible. So we end up looking for fun that's just as intense and stressful as our jobs. But here's the really important part. There is a way off. And no, it doesn't mean you have to give up on success or ambition, not at all. It's about rebalancing the whole equation of your life. So Russell's cure is actually pretty simple, but it's a huge mental shift. The first step is just admitting to yourself that quiet, simple enjoyment is not a luxury, it's essential. From there, you start to actively carve out time for what he called impersonal interests. Things that have absolutely nothing to do with getting ahead or impressing anyone, like gardening or messing around with an instrument or learning a new skill just for the fun of it. Okay, so what does this look like in the real world? Let's get practical. How does this shift actually play out day to day? You can really see the switch here. At work, the question changes from, is my job title better than theirs, to, am I actually absorbed and interested in what I'm doing? In your relationships, it's not about being the power couple. It's about asking, are we really connecting? See the pattern? It's a shift from looking outside for validation to looking inside for genuine fulfillment. And this idea is ancient. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius basically said the same thing centuries ago. He said that sanity, true well-being, comes from tying it to your own actions. Focusing on what you can control, your effort, your values, and letting go of what you can't, like what other people are doing or thinking. All right, I want to give you one really small, practical thing you can try, like today, to start this process of stepping off the treadmill. It sounds simple, but this is a really powerful little reset. Just for a minute, you're anchoring yourself in a real physical moment. You're training your brain to find value right here, right now, instead of always chasing the next thing. It's like a tiny act of rebellion against that need to always be speeding up. So when it all comes down to it, the goal isn't to just stop running. It's to stop running in a race someone else set up for you. True contentment comes from choosing your own path and then actually enjoying the walk. So I'll leave you with this question. What's one quiet enjoyment you can bring back into your life this week? And if you found this interesting, our next explainer gets into Russell's fascinating take on boredom and excitement. Be sure to check out the full playlist for more of this kind of wisdom.